Seth Rollins just made the most violent return in WWE history, and Austin Theory's career may never be the same. What is up, Suplex Rumble family? Welcome back to the channel, and oh my god, do we have some insane news to break down today? If you're new here, hit that subscribe button right now because we cover all the biggest moments, the hottest takes, and the most exciting developments in professional wrestling. Monday Night Raw just delivered one of the most shocking, most brutal, most talked about moments of the entire year, and I am still processing what we just witnessed. Seth Rollins, after weeks of absence, came back with a vengeance and absolutely decimated Austin Theory in a way that has the entire wrestling world buzzing. This wasn't just a return. This wasn't just an attack. This was a statement. This was Seth Rollins reminding everyone exactly why he's called the Visionary, and Austin Theory learned a hard lesson about what happens when you poke the bear. Let's break down every single detail of this incredible moment. Alright, before we get into the destruction that unfolded on Raw, we need to understand the story that led us to this explosive moment. Seth Rollins hasn't been on our television screens for several weeks, and the WWE Universe has been dying to know when he'd return and what condition he'd be in. The last time we saw Seth before his absence, he was dealing with the aftermath of some brutal matches and increasingly dangerous situations. The wear and tear of being a top performer in WWE was clearly taking its toll, and there were legitimate questions about whether Seth needed time to heal up, reset mentally, or both. In professional wrestling, sometimes the best thing a superstar can do is step away briefly, let the anticipation build, and come back when the moment is absolutely perfect. But here's where things get interesting. During Seth's absence, Austin Theory has been absolutely thriving on Monday Night Raw. Theory has been cutting promos talking about how he's the future of WWE, how the old guard needs to step aside, how guys like Seth Rollins are from a different era that's becoming irrelevant. Theory has been walking around with this cocky confidence, this arrogance that honestly needed to be checked. Now, if you know anything about Seth Rollins, you know he's not the type of guy to let disrespect slide. Seth has been in this business long enough, has accomplished enough, has earned enough to demand respect from everyone in that locker room. So when reports started circulating that Seth was hearing everything Theory was saying during his time away, fans started to sense that a reckoning was coming. The wrestling world was buzzing with speculation. When would Seth return? How would he return? And most importantly, would he go directly after Austin Theory for running his mouth? Well, Monday Night Raw answered all of those questions in the most emphatic way possible. So here's how everything unfolded on Monday Night Raw, and I'm telling you, this was masterfully executed from a storytelling perspective. Austin Theory was in the middle of the ring, microphone in hand, doing what he's been doing for weeks, talking trash. He was going on and on about how he's the most talented superstar on the Raw roster, how he doesn't need the legends of yesterday, how WWE should be built around his future, not the past. The crowd was booing him mercilessly, which honestly is exactly the reaction Theory wanted. But then, something happened that made the entire arena explode. Seth Rollins' music hit, and the place went absolutely bonkers. The pop from the crowd was deafening. You could feel the energy shift in that arena immediately. Theory's face went from smug confidence to genuine concern in about half a second. He knew he'd been talking all this trash, and now the man he'd been disrespecting was standing at the top of the entrance ramp, and Theory was trapped in the ring with nowhere to go. Seth stood there for a moment, just soaking in the reaction from the WWE Universe. He was wearing his signature gear, he had that focused, intense look in his eyes that tells you he means absolute business. This wasn't Seth Rollins coming back to shake hands and have a friendly chat. This was Seth Rollins coming back to send a message, and that message was written all over his face. Theory tried to talk his way out of the situation. He was in the ring trying to explain himself, trying to play it off like he was just hyping himself up, trying to suggest that maybe they could talk this out like professionals. But Seth wasn't interested in talking. Seth started making his way down the ramp, methodically, purposefully, never taking his eyes off Theory for even a second. The anticipation was incredible. The crowd was chanting Seth's name, willing him to get into that ring and deliver the beating that Austin Theory had been asking for with all his disrespectful comments. And Seth, being the master performer that he is, took his time getting to the ring, letting the tension build to an almost unbearable level. When Seth finally rolled into that ring, all hell broke loose. Theory tried to get the jump on him, swinging wildly, but Seth was ready. Seth ducked the first shot, and then it was on. Seth unleashed a combination of strikes that backed Theory into the corner. We're talking precision strikes, calculated aggression, the kind of offense that only a veteran like Seth Rollins can deliver. Theory tried to cover up, tried to defend himself, but Seth was relentless. Every punch, every kick, every move was executed with bad intentions. Seth whipped Theory across the ring, and when Theory bounced off the ropes, Seth caught him with a devastating move that sent Theory crashing to the mat. The crowd was going absolutely insane. You could feel the electricity in that building. Everyone was on their feet watching Seth systematically dismantle Austin Theory. But Seth wasn't done. Not even close. He pulled Theory up, delivered another punishing sequence of offense, and you could see Theory was already in serious trouble. This wasn't a competitive back-and-forth match. This was an absolute beating. This was Seth Rollins making an example out of someone who disrespected him, and Theory was paying the price for every single word he'd said during Seth's absence. Seth hit his signature moves with extra intensity. Each impact echoed through the arena, and with every move, the crowd got louder and louder. Theory tried to roll out of the ring to escape the onslaught, but Seth followed him out. Even outside the ring, the destruction continued. Seth drove Theory into the barricade, then into the ring apron, systematically working over every part of Theory's body. The officials were trying to restore order, but Seth was laser-focused on delivering this message to Theory and to anyone else who might have thought about disrespecting him. He rolled Theory back into the ring, and you could see Theory was battered, exhausted, and probably seriously regretting every word he'd said over the past few weeks. Then came the exclamation point. Seth set up for his devastating finishing maneuver, and the crowd was begging for it. Seth hit it perfectly, and Theory was left laying in the middle of that ring, absolutely destroyed. Seth stood over Theory's fallen body, arms spread wide in his signature pose, and the message was crystal clear: Seth Rollins is back, and the entire WWE roster just got put on notice. Okay, now that we've relived that incredible moment, let's talk about what this means going forward for both Seth Rollins and Austin Theory, because this is going to have massive implications for the Monday Night Raw landscape. For Seth Rollins, this return was absolutely perfect. He was gone just long enough for people to miss him, just long enough for anticipation to build, and he came back in the most impactful way possible. Seth has re-established himself as one of the most dangerous, most intense competitors on the roster. Anyone who thought maybe Seth had lost a step during his absence just got proven very wrong. Seth is back in peak form, and he's clearly ready to reclaim his spot at the top of Monday Night Raw. This also shows Seth's veteran savvy. He could have come back in any number of ways, but he chose to come back with purpose. He identified someone who'd been disrespecting him, and he made them pay. That's the mark of a true main event player who understands the psychology of professional wrestling. For Austin Theory, this is actually a huge opportunity disguised as a beating. Yes, Theory got absolutely destroyed, but think about what this means for his character development. Theory now has legitimate beef with one of the biggest stars in WWE. Theory can use this as motivation, as a chip on his shoulder, as evidence that the veterans are trying to hold him down. If Theory is smart, and I think he is, he'll use this beating as fuel to elevate his character to the next level. This could be the beginning of an incredible rivalry between these two. You've got the established star versus the up-and-coming talent who refuses to show respect. You've got generational conflict, you've got real heat, you've got contrasting styles. This is the recipe for a feud that could produce some absolutely phenomenal matches over the coming weeks and months. The wrestling world has been absolutely buzzing since this moment aired on Monday Night Raw. Social media exploded with reactions, clips, memes, and discussions about Seth's return and the destruction of Austin Theory. Twitter was on fire with fans celebrating Seth's comeback. The hashtags were trending worldwide within minutes of this segment airing. Fans were posting about how this is exactly the kind of moment that makes wrestling so incredible, when someone who's been disrespected finally gets their revenge in the most satisfying way possible. Wrestling journalists and analysts have been breaking down every aspect of this return. People are praising WWE for the storytelling, for the timing, for giving fans exactly what they wanted to see. There's been discussion about how this is a textbook example of how to execute a return angle, how to build anticipation, and how to deliver a payoff that exceeds expectations. Even other WWE superstars have been commenting on social media, with many posting eyes emojis or fire emojis, acknowledging that Seth made a massive statement. Some have even posted things like, "Note to self, don't talk trash about Seth Rollins when he's not around," which shows that even the roster recognized this as a significant moment. Austin Theory has been surprisingly quiet on social media since the attack, which actually makes sense from a storytelling perspective. What can he say? He got absolutely destroyed. Sometimes silence speaks louder than words, and Theory's silence suggests he's somewhere licking his wounds and plotting his revenge. So where do we go from here? What happens next in this developing story? Let me give you my predictions and what I think WWE might have planned for these two incredible performers. First, I think we're going to see Austin Theory come back with fire. He's not going to take this lying down. Theory is going to want revenge, he's going to want to prove that Seth just caught him by surprise, and he's going to be desperate to show that he can hang with a main event level talent like Rollins. Expect Theory to demand a proper match where he can prove himself. Second, I think Seth is going to make it clear that he's not just back to deal with Theory. He's back to reclaim his position at the top of Monday Night Raw. Seth is going to want championship opportunities, main event matches, and to remind everyone why he's called the Visionary. This rivalry with Theory might just be the appetizer before Seth sets his sights on even bigger prizes. Third, I wouldn't be surprised if this feud gets very personal. Wrestling is at its best when there are real emotions involved, and Seth and Theory now have legitimate reasons to intensify this conflict. We might see backstage attacks, interference in matches, stipulation matches, the works. I also think this could potentially lead to Theory aligning with others who have issues with Seth, creating a numbers game situation that Seth has to overcome. WWE loves faction warfare, and this could be the starting point for something much larger. What an incredible moment on Monday Night Raw. Seth Rollins is back, Austin Theory got destroyed, and the WWE Universe is absolutely thriving right now. I want to hear from you, Suplex Rumble family. What did you think of Seth's return? Was this the perfect way to come back? Do you think Theory can recover from this beating and eventually get his revenge? Are you excited for this potential rivalry? Drop all your thoughts, predictions, and reactions in the comments below. If you love this breakdown, smash the like button, share this video with every wrestling fan you know, and make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on so you never miss our coverage of the biggest moments in WWE. Thank you so much for watching, Suplex Rumble family. Stay awesome, keep supporting incredible wrestling, and I'll catch you in the next video where we'll continue following this story and all the other amazing action from the world of professional wrestling. Peace out. Thumbnail suggestion: dynamic image showing Seth Rollins in aggressive pose with text "returns and destroys Theory" in bold red/gold lettering. Background music: royalty-free intense, dramatic music that builds during key moments. B-roll suggestions: use WWE promotional images, fan art, generic wrestling arena shots, avoid actual match footage.